And now, back to the face that inspires your nightmares. Welcome back to Let's Play Demon Souls. Let's go on ahead and get some progress. Let's go to the Bulletarian Palace. This is the first world, the first Archstone, and the first level of the said first Archstone, so... Okay, so this is pretty much like the first official level of the game. We're gonna get a nice little intro to this world. Just a moment here. So that was the red scale dragon. Looked like it was just coming home from a meal to go. Had a lot of peasants in its mouth. I actually thought that was what its mouth looked like at first, like it had this really weird looking jaw with like teeth jutting out or something. I don't know why I thought it looked like that, but yeah, it's actually just like that thing has a full meal going on right there in its mouth, so yeah. The dragons are actually kind of interesting. They're not really things that you fight so much as things that you sort of avoid, but they are... It is possible to kill them, and you do get a bit of a reward for doing so. You get a little extra souls. So, we're still on Draglings right here, still fighting these guys. More common name, I guess, would be slave soldiers, but their official name is Draglings. But yeah, they're pretty much just slave soldiers who are made to fight. They're really just cannon fodder thrown at you without much health, without much combat skill, and most of the time they're not really that big of a problem. The thing to take notice of here, though, is that since we are in soul form, we cannot take quite as many hits as we could in the tutorial level when we were in body form. So, this game is really all about being careful with that stuff, gauging your health, trying not to make mistakes, making as few mistakes as you possibly can in the process of fighting these guys. Just anybody in general, really. Ah, got me from behind. Oh, it might have been the third one. I didn't even notice that third one. Alrighty. I kind of wish I had a long sword, but curved swords are an interesting weapon type to use. They have their ups and downs and such. I do like some of the combos that you can do with them, and especially the recovery for the two-handed heavy. Or no, maybe that's not it. Maybe I was thinking of another attack. I don't know. There's this attack that you can do with curved swords where when you recover you sort of do this really crazy twisty attack, or not an attack but like recovery. You do this crazy move. I don't think we're gonna see it. At some point I'll notice it and point it out, but yeah. Not gonna spend a few minutes just to figure out what the right combo is. That's a pretty nice one. Slide the sword back into place. Swing! But yeah, so this is the sort of the outer wall of the castle. That's what I consider this area, is really the outer wall of the Bulletarian Palace. We're going to be going up the left wall, going up onto the mid-level, coming all the way around and then back over that way, and it's a full circle kind of level. You really just sort of explore the entirety of it, and then you come back down and go fight the boss. So we actually start out pretty close to the boss, so once we unlock the way to him, we'll be able to, in the very rare event that we actually die against him, it's easy to try to fight him again, but I don't think we'll have to worry about that, because the first boss of this game, the first real boss that you have to defeat. The Phalanx, you're kind of supposed to die to. But, this first boss is really pretty easy. He can overwhelm you if you don't know the right way to go about fighting him, but honestly, he's a pretty simple boss, and especially with the items that we'll be gathering throughout just this one level, he shouldn't be a problem. I'll only say this, he's very weak to fire, or they are very weak to fire, so good thing to keep that in mind. Anyways, early on in the game, like right now, you do want to conserve your healing items. So in that way, it's nice if you have a starting class that starts out with some spells, like a healing spell. Temple Knight has that. I'm not sure, but I think the Mage might have that. I could be wrong on that one, so don't quote me on that. But I know that the Temple Knight has that one. And in our case, or in a Barbarian's case, since we're a Wanderer, we actually don't have spells to start out. See that top thing right there that's flashing? I'm pressing it trying to change spells, but we don't have any spells to change, so right now we can't cast anything, but that's where our spells will appear when we acquire them. Everybody can acquire spells, even Barbarians. You just have to level up your magic enough to that point to accomplish that task. What we got right there is the Mailbreaker. That'll be extremely useful in World 2, which is the Stonefang Mine, Stonefang Tunnel, I think it's called. But it's a piercing weapon, and it pierces through armor and defense pretty well. So, say if this guy were blocking us, it's a good weapon to use. In fact, just for the sake of showing off another weapon, I guess I can equip it. But yeah, basically, if you look at the moveset, it's all about stabbing. So yeah. Not quite a rapier, but it's a mail breaker. It breaks through chain mail and such. But yeah, there are various different kinds of damage in this game. There's blunt damage, there's slashing damage, like with the curved swords, and then there's stabbing damage, or piercing damage, which is what you use the mail breaker for, or any other weapon that satisfies that field of attack. Oh, and another interesting thing about the Mailbreaker is that you can actually use it while you're using your shield. Alright, I'm gonna go back and heal, because I'm getting very low on health. Just hope that guy behind us... Yeah, there's a guy above us. You can't see him, but he's throwing fire bottles at us. And, he is able to get a few cheap shots off at us. But we will be backtracking a little bit to take him down. If I just look behind me, there he is. And he's just sitting there, being lazy, throwing fire bottles. Like a big sissy. So I'm gonna go on ahead and change back to the Falchion. I'm not a huge fan of the Mailbreaker. For the enemies that are weak to it, it's very nice, but yeah, anyways. That wasn't quite what I was having in mind. But whatever. That's another thing I don't quite like about curved blades, is that instead of doing a push, you just do this this double attack. And in its own respect, it's kind of nice, but the purpose of pressing forward and R1 is usually for a pushing attack, whereas with this one, it's sort of just a double slash. Which is nice, as I said, but with, say, a long sword, or even just a dagger, I'll put the Mailbreaker right here. Like, usually what it's... Usually what a push would be used for would be to push enemies back. I guess even the Mailbreaker is a little bit weird, because it looks like I just step back and point it towards the enemy as if I'm going to poke them with it as they run towards me. This is the first trap of the game. Well, not technically true. There was a trap back there. That was a pitfall. There was like this shining aura around it, which might entice people thinking there might be treasure down there. There's not. There's just a pit and it kills you. But that's the first really devious one where they're actively trying to